All right, another little Judo Kuzushi exercise. It's very useful to work on with your hands as a push-pull. And what's happening here, let's leave your hand out for a second. As from the collar grip, as he's stepping back, I'm stepping in step with the man, and I'm just going to turn my wrist from a normal gripping position to a wrist down position. I'm not making a strong drive. I'm not trying to push him hard. Just a slight change, and that affects his structure and his posture slightly. Just a little change here. As he picks the other foot up, I'll make a slight change, and I'll direct it towards his heel of that outside foot. So you can make a pushing action. This actually comes from the form of 5 kata, Itsutsu no kata, that you would touch him on the heel and touch him on the heel and touch him on the heel, so that fundamentally, if you're going straight towards the camera, I'm just touch, 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 touch. So we're seeing that same tick-tock action like we did in the previous Kuzushi, but now we're just doing it with our wrist. Just a slight wrist action. Boom, boom. So you can actually start affecting him pretty dramatically. Now, once we have that little pressure, let's take the first step again off his foot going back. And you've just touched it briefly. We want to get completely off of it and relax so that his body goes into its natural cycle of recovery. Boom, relax. And he gets into good posture again. As his body's going into that good posture, again, he has to compensate for this little extra distortion. And as his body does so, we're going to retract. And that causes him to get into a more extravagant little Kuzushi here. And so you're going to wind up with a form that pops him up and brings him, into an exaggerated body rise. So we put our grips back into it, although it obscures the side of it a little bit. These are all basically fairly passive. But this little action where you touch the man on his back step and then retract, the retracting is no more of a pull than what you do with your wrist right here. If your arms collapse, it's not because you're pulling him, it's because he's falling into you a little bit. So, push, pull, right here. And again, I'll do it with one hand so you can see it better. You can go ahead and keep your grip on there, but you can maybe slide it down so they can see. Push, pull, right here. And see his body pop up in the air for you. His body rise, we're exaggerating body rise in the man. And body rise is a prime opportunity to make your throws go, whether you're going to come underneath and set up foot sweeps, foot stops, or you're going to come underneath and set big throws, hips and shoulders, or you're going to drive in and come underneath and maybe even take him up into a kataguruma or something. Anytime they step backwards, you have this potential of popping them up in the air, just with this little light touch. Now, to develop that skill takes thousands of repetitions, and you got to work progressively lighter and lighter with your hands so that they become less forceful. Less is more in this case. If I try to do this powerfully, I go bam, bam, you can see it. It flattens his whole plane out. He just sort of absorbs the whole thing. If I'm very strong and I try to do a push-pull, his body reads that like it's nothing. He can just flatten it out. Now he can tell you we're dancing around and this little thing happens to him. It hits him like a surprise. He's like, he doesn't even know why he fell. I'm not sure either. I can, hey, look at that. There it is. Looked like a foot sweep, but my foot never came out of there. Kind of weird that way. And yeah, it's surprising him, but I can tell you if I try to do that hard, he'll stop it every time. And all really good players will. So it's a delicate feel in the hands, a lightness that leads to that kind of teiwaza application. And you can have it too if you're just patient and you work lightly and carefully with your partner. Thank you.